Good afternoon. The title of this post is You Nasty. Facebook, Twitter, and the social media hookups. First of all, social media is something that's new and can be both positive and negative. It can be positive in the sense that you can find old classmates, you can hook up with old friends or people that you haven't talked to in a while, and you can have a very nice exchange, nice conversation. You also can discover new and common interests like the knitting club or a couple of sorority sisters that you haven't talked to in a while. So in that way, social media can be actually kind of nice. And you could even start some special interest groups. However, on the other hand, social media can be very, very dangerous. Remembering that social media is the way of the world, you got to be kind of careful what you're actually looking out for. You've got to be very sure that when you decide to open up your Facebook page or open up your fan page, what is your reasoning for doing just that? You know, when you decide to get your Twitter account, why are you opening a Twitter account? I mean, is it for your business? Is it for your personal? Is it for your fraternity? Is it for your church? Just what is the particular reason? And then you got to be sure that you sort of stick with that reason as you begin to develop over time and gain a new number of friends. I actually have an actual personal Facebook page and I have an Dr. O fan page, but both of them are basically used for my business and for building up a readership so that people can go to my blog and hear those things that I'm talking about. Now, you got to keep in mind a couple of key things. Number one, if you're doing things in social media, nothing is really confidential. Nothing is really confidential. You also got to be aware that spouses and lovers may tap in to your Facebook, tap into your cell phone, or tap into your fan pages or your other kind of pages that you may have out there, such as Twitter. So you got to be kind of careful with what you're writing, what you're saying. And then you got to be kind of careful when you start developing what you call friends or acquaintances or these special guest lists or special groups and clubs that have different kind of interests. Because what people will do, you've done it, I've done it. Not only do people come to your site to see your pictures, but they also kind of peruse your friends to see if they can gauge what sort of size you up. Now, you also got to keep in mind the interactions on Facebook and Twitter and other places and MySpace and those kinds of things, they got to be sort of time limited. Now, if you're using it for a hookup, then that's the wrong reason for using social media. You got to be very careful with hooking up with people on social media, because if you start spending too much time, what's going to happen is you can break up your relationship, you can destroy families, and you can interfere with other aspects of your personal life. I was watching Judge Karen the other morning, and that was a lady who had actually began to take the computer to bed. She was taking the computer to the dinner table. She was taking the computer to work. So what was happening was she had used the computer to replace that human touch or that actual person-to-person interaction, and that can happen. Let's talk just for a few minutes as we close about the relationship dilemma. Most of us are visual. We see candy, clothes, and shoes before we actually buy them. And this also happens on Facebook. You may see something that looks very nice, that's sort of nice out there, but in the final analysis, it ain't all that nice. So you got to be kind of careful. Number two, like Eve in the Garden of Eden, we may see something that looks really good, but in the end, it can be bad for us. So you got to be kind of careful with that. And then, you know, some people that frequent these sites are kind of lonely and desperate. So you got to be careful not to fall prey to some type of psychopath. And you do have psychopaths that are on social media sites. And finally, don't believe nothing that you hear on Facebook. Don't believe nothing. You know, there was an old church mother that one time told me, don't believe nothing that you hear, and don't believe half of stuff that you see. So you got to be very careful. And don't let social media gag and choke your actual solid relationship. So if you have a relationship, invest in that relationship, invest your time in that relationship. Don't go out to dinner and let your phone be kind of leading and guiding you throughout the whole dinner time. Don't rush home for Facebook after work. Don't rush home from church to see Facebook. Kind of be careful with how you handle social media. This is also for Twitter, MySpace, and Google Plus, and the rest of them that are out there. So just be careful. But if you really want to know a little bit more about your relationships, I have a book that's out now called Am I in a Bad Relationship? If you want to find out a little bit about it, you can go to www.askdro.tv. That's www.askdro.tv, or simply go to my website, click on the book, and it'll take you to the landing page. Have a good day and be careful with the social media hookups. Have a good day.